It's 2014, and Minecraft popularity was still well within its peak. The 1.7 update had just introduced new biomes and world generation, while behind the scenes, Mojang were in talks with Microsoft for the now controversial purchase of the game. In the middle of these two, there was more big news, the informal announcement that a Minecraft movie was in the works. Fast forward to today, and we're just finding out now that the film is set to release in 2025. So, what delayed the film this severely? Let's talk about all of the nightmares that came along with the 11-year journey of making a Minecraft movie. Let's start off in 2014, where Mojang are in talks with Warner Bros. To potentially make a Minecraft movie. And early into this process, someone finds out and wants to be the person to leak it. Notch didn't like that idea, so he decided to tweet and leak it himself, writing, "Someone is trying to leak the fact that we're working with Warner Brothers on a potential Minecraft movie. I wanted to be that leak." This went on to be a huge mistake for Minecraft, as people are now burning for the Minecraft movie, which hadn't got a confirmed date until recently, the 4th of April 2025. But hey, that wasn't his issue now, as in September, he sold the company and retired anyway. Now I know, movies can take a long time sometimes to actually finish and release, but 11 years? In that time, we had a Minecraft movie be made into a game with Minecraft Story Mode. A Season 2 was then released, and then the giant game studio that made it went bankrupt, left a 5-year gap, and came back with multiple games, all before Minecraft movie actually got released. All for the trailer to look like this? Where exactly did it all go wrong? And the simple answer is this video would be a lot shorter if instead I asked where it didn't go wrong. To start off, if it reassures you in any way, this isn't just a cash grab from Minecraft like a lot of adaptations seem to be. Mojang is very set on maintaining its integrity of the game, always stating that they're open to the idea of a production based on their game, but would be very, very particular on what they said yes to. The ex-CEO, Carl Manor, said in 2012 that the studio would go outside the realm of gaming if the right idea came along, following up by saying that a number of high-profile Hollywood producers did actually contact them to make TV shows of the game. But none of them they accepted. That was until 2014, where, like I said earlier, Notch announces that they're in talks with Warner Bros. To make a movie. Not much later, everything's in motion. Roy Lee instantly gets put on to produce the film, shortly just after releasing the Lego Movie, which had been huge. And the similarities between the two honestly made him the perfect fit. He would be joined by Jill Messick, who worked on Mean Girls, who sadly passed away in 2018. A few months later, our now beloved Vu Bui, the chief creative officer at Mojang, an icon of Minecraft Monthly, expanded a little bit, giving us an update, letting us know that he had no idea how long the movie would take, but guessing it would be around 2 to 4 years' time. But early production was underway, with a large budget as well. He spoke on how they decided to go with Warner Bros. Because they seemed to respect the game and its IP, wanting to make a cool film rather than just a cash grab, which honestly sounded perfect for the team at Mojang, so they went ahead with it. No solid plans were in place yet, with no assigned cast and no idea if it was going to be animated or live action. The only solid plans so far were to make this a story built on Minecraft with a clear definition that there's no right way to play Minecraft. So, all the fans buckled in and eagerly awaited the next update for the Minecraft movie. And it wasn't too long that we had to wait for some news, because it was announced a few months later that Sean Levy, who was then known for Night in the Museum and to be later known for Stranger Things, was to direct the film, until he wasn't. In December, only 2 months after the announcement of him joining the project, it gets announced that him and the writers that joined him will be leaving the project for creative differences, which is normally the professional way of saying that it wasn't a particularly friendly end to their business relationship. But this time, I do think that is the case, that it was just creative differences. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, he said that he pitched the idea, which was a less comedic, more adventure film, similar to like films like The Goonies. Mojang essentially read the pitch and said that, hey, we don't know what we want the Minecraft film to be, but this didn't feel right and this isn't what we want from the film. So, wanting to stay true to his creative style, he thought it would be best if he just left the film. So he did. And honestly, I think that was a good decision. Yeah, it meant we had to wait longer for the film, but it means that we won't get a film that wasn't the director's style and had no passion. And then it went radio silent for a few months, until a familiar face had been seen around Minecon London in 2015, followed by the July announcement that a new director had been chosen for the Minecraft movie, Rob McElhenney, known best for being an actor-director of his show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which, honestly, if you ask me, doesn't make much sense why he was chosen. I mean, I assume at this point Rob wanted to expand a little bit with his directing portfolio, but the inoffensive, wildly portrayed kids game to be directed by...
What's wrong with the blackface?
This guy? Anyway, this gets announced in a blog post that is no longer available. It took me an hour to track it down, and this is what it said. Yep, an hour. He did seem to actually care about getting into this movie and how to make it right. He even spoke to some YouTubers too. Captain Sparkles mentioned how he had a meeting with him and how he was asked, how would you see a Minecraft live-action movie looking? To which he told him that it would be super hard to make it look proper. Which, yeah, he's right. So, in 2016, early production began, even with a date announced for the film, May 24th, 2019. 3 years in advance with an oddly specific date, but Vu once again explained that despite its long way away, it's just the right amount of time to make it completely awesome. Later down the line, we also found out joining Rob would be Jason Fuchs, writer of Wonder Woman and the last Ice Age movie. He would be helping Rob refine the initial script. The two would then go on to bring on Steve Carell as a lead character, an unnamed character. Steve Carell. I'll let you deduce who he was likely to play. And then it comes to everything falling apart. Unlike the last time this fell apart, Rob McElhenney actually spoke at length in a podcast called Happy, Sad, Confused about how everything crumbled.
I was going to make the Minecraft movie. And that was actually a really pleasant experience almost all the way through, up until the point where it wasn't. And the only thing I'd ever directed were episodes of television.
Are you comfortable saying what your take was?
Yeah, so I'm comfortable talking about it because them at this point. I loved playing the game, and I love playing it with my kids. Video games that I've seen, video game movies in the past, most of which don't work, and I think part of the reason they don't work is because there's already a fixed narrative. And so I thought one of the greatest assets that to Minecraft was that it didn't have a fixed narrative. I thought, what an amazing tool to give to kids, and not just kids, but any person who feels powerless, right? And kids mostly feel powerless. All day long they're being told what to do, how to dress, do your homework, go to bed, Everybody feels marginalized to a certain extent. You feel as though your boss is telling you what to do. You just feel like you don't have this sense of agency over your own life.
Right.
And the game gave you that. And that's sort of what I started with. And then I pitched that to Warner Brothers, and then I pitched a very simple story about people taking agency over their own experience in this digital landscape, and they went for it. And we got to the point where we had a script that was in pretty good shape. We had a production team. We had an art department. We had a visual effects house.
You had dozens of people.
We had
working on this.
Steve Carell signed on to star in it. We had stages booked, and it was 2 weeks before the holidays. And someone sends me a text. They say, "Hey, Greg Silverman is leaving Warner Brothers," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll give him a buzz and say thank you for everything, and then I'll get back to work." Well, that's not really the way the movie business works.
New leadership has their own ideas.
And really that was it. It just slowly died on the vine. I'm not his guy, right? I was Greg's guy, and he had a different vision for what the studio was going to be. But the thing that bummed me out was that it was 2.5 years of my life. It was a month away from moving to Vancouver to start prep. And I did enjoy the process, but I didn't love it enough to do it again.
And just like that, it was back to square one. And it was time for the next director. This time, directors. Adam and Aaron Nee would direct the film as a brother duo. Now, out of all of the directors, this one made 0 sense. The brothers' Experience was an indie film that made $20,000 in box office. Now, they were set to direct a film with an $150 million budget? I guess someone at Warner Bros. Must have really liked them. They would also be writing the film from the ground up again, as the previous script had been scrapped entirely, which also meant that the pre-established date of the 2019 film release would be pushed back quite significantly, as it was late 2018 at this point. By the time it hit 2019, there was finally more news about the development, that Jim Burney, who had previously worked on the Polar Express and Aquaman, would be joining as the VFX supervisor, and it seemed like the ball started rolling again, with a month later that, yep, you guessed it, new director. We don't really know where they went, but they kinda just got replaced. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist director, Peter Sollett, would now be directing the film, and this time he came along with a full team off the get-go. John Berg from Elf and Aquaman would produce, and we also got our first synopsis of the film. The story follows a teenage girl and her unlikely group of adventurers who, after a malevolent ender dragon sets out a path of destruction, must save their beautiful, blocky overworld. That was confirmed in a Minecraft blog post that also confirmed for us that the film would be coming out on the 4th of March, 2022. A few months later, it also comes out that Alison Schroeder, the writer of Frozen 2, would actually be finalizing the script for the film. All of a sudden, it looked like this film was actually happening. Everything was looking great in the great year of 2019. Yeah, relatively deep into the production, it halts in October 2020 as COVID had really ramped up and it became a global pandemic, with no real idea of how long they wouldn't be able to make the film for. Warner Bros. Once again retracted the launch date of the film, and once again, it was a waiting game. But hey, at least this time it seemed more like a pause than anything. Nothing went wrong, and it was only because of COVID that everything stopped. So, then it gets to 2022, and production picks up again. COVID didn't change much, luckily, only the director and the writer. Yep, that's right, back to square one. This time, the first approach was to hire a production company to work alongside, taking on none other than Legendary Entertainment, personally one of my favorite production houses, known for Interstellar, Batman, Inception, Dune, and they would be teaming up with Warner Bros. To make this film. Not too long before this, Legendary had actually been working with Jared Hess to make a film that didn't end up working out, but they contacted him asking him if he'd want to take on the Minecraft movie with them, so he accepted. And he was now set to be the new director for the Minecraft movie. Like Rob McElhenney, he had also experienced playing the game with his kids and also loved the concept of it being completely open world. And yet again, the process was all starting again. Multiple new producers from Legendary joined, as well as a few people from Mojang to help them. Jared brought on some scriptwriters, Chris Bowman and Hubble Palmer, who had worked with him on some other previous projects, as well as Kel Boyter to be the executive producer, who had worked on some incredibly made projects similar to this, such as Detective Pikachu, SpongeBob Fish Out of Water, and some serious stuff like June too. I think he seems a perfect fit to help produce the film, and Jared Hess seems to agree, talking specifically on how he really wants to avoid the ugly Sonic moment. Detective Pikachu, well, that was done so incredibly well, so I think he'll be in safe hands. Now, this was all well and good saying this, but we had been through so many directors and producers at this point. Everyone was just expecting another reshuffle again. But Warner Bros., they couldn't afford that. Like, literally. You see, they had already purchased the right to use the Minecraft brand for this film several years ago, and it's still gone unused. That license was set to expire in a few months, and the only way that they would keep the rights for it was the film to be in active production by January 2023. So they started, even with rumors stating that Jason Momoa could be featuring in the film. And then we got a date, the 4th of April 2025. Once again, it was a few years in advance, but it was a date. But also, then again, at the same time, we've had multiple dates in the past before. This could eventually get scrapped. It's not the confirmation we needed, but it did show that things were actually happening again. Well, it gets to May 2023, and we start finding out that casting has actually begun. It looks like it's actually going ahead. Matt Berry was in talks to join, which never ended up happening, but from then, nothing. Until November. But that was when everything started to ramp up. And this was a time where the community, for the first time in a long time, really felt like this thing was happening. Casting goes into full motion, and we get a list of names. Danielle Brooks and Sebastian Eugene Hansen set to join. Followed by the next month, Emma Myers. And then the big one in January. Jack Black was to play Steve, as well as Jennifer Coolidge, Kate McKinnon, and Jermaine Clement to play unnamed characters. We still don't know if these three are even in the film yet, so I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. At the same time, in an interview, Jared Hess revealed that Grant Major, who had worked on Lord of the Rings, would be a production designer too. Filming was actually set to have started a few months before this information came out, but had been delayed due to the SAG-AFTRA strikes. But after a resolution of that came in November, filming was actually scheduled to start in Auckland, New Zealand in early 2024. And that it did. Minecraft was officially the furthest it had ever been into production. Then, things went quiet. But as you would expect, because filming had supposedly begun. That silence was then interrupted by an Instagram post from Jason Momoa, confirming that the Minecraft movie was now officially done filming. That was the confirmation we needed. The Minecraft movie is actually going to be coming out now. They then initially teased the film to celebrate the Minecraft 15-year anniversary, with this video featuring Jack Black and Jason Momoa, before us then getting now the infamous trailer on September 4th, locking in that magical date. April 4th, 2025. And that's it. That's why it took so long for the Minecraft movie to hit our screens. If you did enjoy this video, consider subscribing, or maybe checking out one of my other videos. This one was about the unfortunate downfall of Minecraft Story Mode and why it got banned. I also released some merch recently. I have mouse mats available on highkeyhateme.com, or you can just look below this video and they should all show there. Anyway, once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you later.